The final phase of assembly elections is now over. Over 5 lakh voters will head to the polls casting their votes across 5,000 polling stations in 40 assembly segments. This election phase covers regions such as Jammu, Udhampur, Samba, Kathua, Baramulla, Bandipora and Kupwara as well. Among the candidates are former Deputy Chief Ministers Tara Chand and Muzaffar Beig, part of a total of 415 candidates contesting for the seats. Meanwhile, security has been heightened to ensure a smooth voting process. Amid ED probing Chief Minister Siddaramaiah in a money laundering case, his wife Parvati has announced that she will return 14 plots of land linked to Mysuru Urban Development Authority scam. In fact, in her statement, she emphasized that her husband's dignity is more important than any asset. Parvati made this decision without consulting family members and expressed her desire for a thorough investigation into the allegations.
Find any substance, they could not find any material against Mr. Siddaramaiah in the Muda case. Now they have tried to file a money laundering case against him in the same case again by the ED.
The Calcutta High Court has permitted a rally organized by the Joint Platform of Doctors to protest the rape and murder of a doctor at Arjikar Medical College and Hospital. The rally is set to begin starting today, in fact from 5 p.m. till 8 p.m. beginning at College Square and will conclude at Rabindra Sadan. The court had dismissed a police request to limit participant numbers, affirming the right to peaceful protest. Meanwhile, demonstrations of support for Hezbollah leader Nasrallah have spread from Kashmir to the national capital. In fact, following earlier protests in Budgam, Kashmir, condemning the killing of Nasrallah, similar sentiments echoed near Kashmiri Gate in the national capital, where supporters held a candlelight march for Hassan Nasrallah. The surge of support includes statements from prominent leaders in Jammu and Kashmir, such as Mehbooba Mufti Umar Abdullah, as well as Engineer Rashid. Union Home Minister Amit Shah is said to visit Maharashtra today as it gears up for crucial assembly elections. His visit will focus on strategic discussions about seat-sharing arrangements among alliance partners, including key political figures such as Chief Minister Eknath Shinde, Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar and Devendra Fadnavis. The meeting is vital as Maharashtra plays a crucial role in the national political landscape, and the outcomes could significantly influence the election dynamics in the state. The top court is set to hear a petition challenging the decision of Maharashtra Assembly Speaker Rahul Narvekar today. The petition pertains to his refusal to disqualify MLAs from the Nationalist Congress Party, specifically the faction led by Ajit Pawar as well as those from the Shiv Sena faction led by Eknath Shinde. The Rouse Avenue Court today will hear the case against AAP leader Swati Maliwal regarding irregularities in recruitment at Delhi's Women Commission. The Delhi High Court note has allowed the hearing to proceed, refusing to stay the lower court's proceedings. Delhi police has detained climate activist Sonam Wangchuk among the 130 others during a foot march that was aimed at advocating the rights for Ladakh. In fact, this march called Delhi Chalo Padyatra began on Sunday and was organized by the Leh Apex Party and the Kargil Democratic Alliance, both of which have been at the forefront of regional protests for past 4 years. Participants in the march were urging the central government to resume the dialogue with Ladakhi leaders on a 4-point agenda, which includes demands for statehood for Ladakh, the extension of the Constitution's 6th schedule to provide greater autonomy, an early recruitment process with the establishment of a public size commission and the allocation of separate Lok Sabha seats for the Leh and Kargil districts. And let's now take a look at the business stories that we're tracking in Tuesday's edition of Quick Morning. India is on track for impressive economic growth, expected to exceed the 9% mark. In fact, speaking at a media conference, CEO of Niti Aayog, BVR Subramaniam, projected this growth number for the current financial year. This news follows the release of the annual survey of industries by the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. Subramaniam even highlighted that the manufacturing sector is contributing significantly to job creation. In the 2022-2023 period, employment in manufacturing industries rose by 7.5%, reaching 1.85 crore mark compared to 1.72 crore the previous year. In fact, this increase surpasses pre-pandemic employment levels by over 22.1 lakh. Subramaniam noted that the growth is not limited to a single area but is widespread across various sectors. During a recent SEBI board meeting, market participants were left disappointed as no changes to the index derivatives framework were announced. All the proposals for the tighter regulations aimed at enhancing market stability were not discussed. SEBI approved a new asset class for high-end worth individuals. Additionally, the new mutual funds light framework was introduced to simplify regulations for passively managed mutual funds, making it easier for asset management companies to operate. Telecom giant Bharti Airtel, has announced that it has prepaid 8,465 crore rupees to the government. The payment is related to spectrum liabilities from the 2016 acquisition and carries an interest rate of over 9%. Airtel had acquired a total of 173.8 megahertz of spectrum in various bands through auctions that were held in the year 2016 for over 14,200 crore rupees. The latest prepayment is part of Airtel's efforts to clear all deferred liabilities. In fact, note earlier this year in the month of June, Airtel paid rupees 7,904 crore rupees for spectrum acquired in the year 2012 and 2015. The company has now fully cleared its deferred liabilities from those acquisitions in 2016 and 2012. Oil companies have remained stable and are expected to see a decline for the third consecutive month. As of this morning, Brent crude futures are trading at $71.8 per barrel, while West Texas Intermediate is at $60.08. Despite concerns over escalating conflict in the Middle East, market sentiment is being supported by strong supply forecasts and uncertainty about demand. Brent crude prices are on track for a nearly 9% decrease this month, which marks its largest drop since the month of November 2022. WTI is expected to decline by more than 7% since the month of August. Production has been halted at the Tata Electronics facility in Tamil Nadu following a fire over the weekend. The plant is known for manufacturing critical components for Apple's iPhone. Authorities are actively assessing the situation. M. Velu, a district fire officer, even stated that the fire engines are on site to prevent further damage while investigating the cause of the fire, which adds to the disruptions Apple is facing as it expands its manufacturing operations in India. In fact, note both Apple and Tata Electronics are currently investigating the matter. G. Swaminathan, Deputy Governor of the Reserve Bank of India, has urged finance banks to improve their governance standards and adopt responsible leading practices. During a recent conference, he expressed concern about unethical practices in some SFBs, including high interest rates and unjust fees. Swaminathan emphasized the importance of strong governance measures, especially in board management and succession planning, to ensure the long-term sustainability of these banks. And one of the top global stories that we are tracking is, of course, the conflict in the Middle East, particularly the war between Israel and Hezbollah. In fact, after carrying out multiple airstrikes, the Israeli forces have begun limited incursion in central Beirut. Let's get started with all the global stories. The US State Department says that they are trying to de-escalate tensions in the Middle East. The State Department's reaction comes on a day when Israel Prime Minister has issued a warning to Iran just days after an airstrike in south of Beirut that killed the chief of Lebanese terror outfit Hezbollah. Officials in the US confirmed Israeli troops are now conducting small raids across the border in Lebanon. Hezbollah's acting leader has even pledged that the terror group will fight on following the death of its longtime chief Hassan Nasrallah. In fact, the Hezbollah leaders said that Hezbollah fighters are ready to meet an Israeli ground offensive. Meanwhile, the United Nations chief Guterres has called for de-escalation and a cessation of hostilities in Lebanon, saying that civilians are suffering the brunt of increasing violence in the region.
We support Israel's right to defend itself against terrorism. That includes by bringing brutal terrorists such as Hassan Nasrallah to justice. At the same time, we ultimately want to see a diplomatic resolution to conflict in the Middle East that provides long-term security for the people of Israel, the people of Lebanon, and the Palestinian people, as well as the broader region, and we will continue to work to advance efforts along those.
Amid simmering tensions in the Middle East, the Russian Prime Minister has arrived in Tehran for an official visit. He was accompanied by high-ranking delegations, a delegation of officials and heads of economic bodies. In fact, in Tehran, he will be meeting Iran's first Vice President, Mohammad Reza Arif. Vice President Arif even expressed satisfaction with the cooperation being given by Russia and Iran and also acknowledged the issues that need to be discussed. Arif further said that Iran's new government is willing to boost diplomatic ties and relations with Russia in all fields. In fact, since 2022, Russia has been receiving Iranian-made Shahed drones, a claim that Tehran has denied outrightly, saying that it has not supplied the attack drone since Russia's war with Ukraine started. The possible shipment of Iranian ballistic missiles to Russia has also alarmed the West as Russian President Vladimir Putin reaches out to other countries to provide him with support in times of war with Ukraine. On the eve of China's National Day, President Xi Jinping addressed the annual banquet event and raked up the issue of China-Taiwan reunification. Xi said that Taiwan is a sacred territory of China and that people on both sides of Taiwan Strait are connected by blood, adding that we must adhere to one China principle. Xi further stated that the complete reunification of the motherland is a common wish of Chinese people at home and abroad. Taiwan split from China amid civil war in 1949, but Beijing continues to regard the island as Chinese territory and has even been ramping its effort to achieve that by military force. President Xi Jinping also warned of difficulties and obstacles ahead of China on the eve of its National Day. This year marks 75 years since the establishment of People's Republic of China under communist rule. French Foreign Minister has urged Israel to refrain from a ground offensive which has now begun in Lebanon and accept a ceasefire. His remarks come after 2 weeks of Israeli airstrikes on Lebanon that has killed at least 1,000 people, including top Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah and several of the terror outfit commanders. Speaking at a press conference in Beirut, he said that there is still hope, but there is little left. France's top diplomat also called on Hezbollah to stop firing on Israeli territories, saying that the group bears heavy responsibility in the current situation given its choice to enter the conflict after Palestinian terror outfit Hamas launched a deadly attack in southern Israel on 7th of October last year. The French foreign minister also expressed solidarity with Lebanese civilians while he delivered critical medical aid and hospital equipment to Lebanon and extended support to country's French nationals. Hundreds of protesters hit the streets and clashed with police officials and security forces in Pakistan's Karachi after being prevented from marching to the US consulate in the city. The demonstrators protested against the killing of Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah in Israeli strikes. In Beirut, the killing of terror group's longtime leader has sent shockwaves across Lebanon. In the Middle East region, where he has been a dominant political figure for over 3 decades, Nasrallah's assassination is by far the biggest of Israel's targeted killings in years that significantly escalated the ongoing crisis in the Middle East region. A powerful typhoon lashed the northernmost islands of Philippines, prompting warnings and mass evacuations. According to government forecasters, Typhoon Krathon was last tracked over the coastal waters of the island of the province of Cagayan. Winds with sustained winds of up to 175 kilometers per hour. As of now, no immediate reports of casualties or damage has been reported. The local residents have strengthened their roofs with ropes-covered windows and wooden boards as well, securing their fishing boats away from sea. 2 days before the typhoon hit, power outages were reported in some areas. Schools and offices have also been shut by the authorities. Sea voyages have also been halted in northern towns and provinces being battered or threatened by the typhoon. About 20 storms and typhoons battered the Philippines each year. In the year 2013, Typhoon Haiyan, one of the strongest recorded tropical cyclones in the world, left more than 7,300 people dead or missing. Cameroon soccer player Samuel has been banned by FIFA for 6 months for attending any from attending any national team events, games. He's been the president of Cameroon Soccer Federation since 2021, has faced 2 charges from an incident at the Under-20 Women's World Cup in Colombia on September 11th. FIFA, while issuing a statement, said that he was judged to have broken disciplinary rules relating to offensive behavior and violations of the principles of fair play and misconduct by the officials. And in other sports stories that we are tracking, on the eve of Paris Saint-Germain's biggest match of the season, forward Dembele was left out of the squad to take on Arsenal in the Champions League and criticized for a lack of commitment. PSG coach Luis Enrique said, and I quote, "If someone does not comply with the requirement from the team, it means that they are not ready." He was questioned during a news conference about Dembele's absence in London after media reported that he decided to snub the France player. He denied he had an argument with the forward. PSG travelled to London with 22 players, but not Dembele. Dembele, who had been a key element in PSG's unbeaten start to the season. PSG has remained unbeaten in all competitions. It defeated Girona in its Champions League opener this month, while Arsenal drew with Atlanta by 0-0. Now, Sarfaraz Khan, Dhruv Jural and Yash Dayal have been released from the Indian Test side to participate in the Irani Cup in Lucknow. In fact, the Irani Cup contest between the rest of India's side and the winner of previous Ranji Trophy, Mumbai, will be played from Tuesday onwards at the Ekna Cricket Stadium. The trio did not start for India in the second test. As per the earlier release by the BCCI, Sarfaraz, Jural and Dayal's participation in the domestic tournament was subject to their place in playing 11 in the ongoing test, while Sarfaraz will be joining Ajinkya Rahane-led Mumbai squad. Jural and Dayal will be playing for rest of India team led by Ruturaj Gaikwad. Third-ranked Alcaraz advanced to the China Open semi-finals for the second straight year after an impressive 7-5, 6-2 victory against Karen Khachanov. The 21-year-old Spaniard was characteristically relentless from the baseline and ground down the number 27-ranked Khachanov service games and converted 4 of the 12 service break opportunities to win in 96 minutes. It was Alcaraz's 46th win of the season, and the victory allowed the reigning French Open and Wimbledon champion to climb back above the absent Alexander Zverev into second place in the ATP live rankings. Alcaraz and will now lock horns with Russia's Daniil Medvedev in the semi-final match after the 5th-ranked Russian defeated Flavio Cobolli of Italy. Bumrah picked up 3 wickets in the first innings, taking his tally to 118 scalps in the history of the World Test Championship. With this second wicket of the innings, the fast bowler has gone past James Anderson, who accounted for 116 wickets in the WTC career despite bowling more than 300 over less. Bumrah has so far bowled in 53 innings and delivered 836 overs to pick 118 wickets, while the England veteran bowled a staggering 1,141 overs to account for 116 scalps in the WTC history. The former is now the 7th highest wicket taker in WTC history and is tied at the moment with Tim Southee of New Zealand, who's picked as many as wickets as Bumrah after bowling 1,196. Virat Kohli's scripted history as he has now become the fastest batter in history to get to the 27,000 runs mark in international cricket. During his knock on day 4 of the second test against Bangladesh in Kanpur, Virat Kohli surpassed Sachin Tendulkar, who got to the landmark in 623 innings. Kohli reached the milestone in his 594th international innings. As a result, Kohli has now become the only cricketer ever to finish 27,000 international runs in under 600 innings. The other players who have achieved this feat are former Australian skipper Ricky Ponting and Sri Lankan legend Kumar Sangakkara. India's hunger for scoring at a faster pace shows the intent to get a result in which much after 2 days of the game were washed out due to rain and were wet outfield. As it was wet outfield, currently India is leading the World Test Championship table, and the 2-0 series win against Bangladesh will further bolster their bid for 3rd consecutive win. Let's now take a look at the entertainment stories that we're tracking in Tuesday's edition of Quick Morning. Tamil superstar Rajnikant, who's been gearing up for the release of his multi-starrer Vetiyan, has reportedly been hospitalized at a private hospital in Chennai and will undergo an elective cardiac procedure. In fact, according to social media and the buzz surrounding this news, the procedure would be performed on the Tamil Star this morning itself. According to reports, Rajnikant arrived at the hospital in Chennai on Monday night and was taken under observation. In other entertainment stories that we are tracking, veteran actor Mithun Chakrabarti has been named as the recipient of the prestigious Dada Saheb Phalke Award, which is India's highest recognition in the field of cinema. The announcement was made on Monday by Union Minister for Information and Broadcasting Ashwini Vaishnav via its social media platform. Chakrabarti has been celebrated for his iconic roles in films such as Mrigaya, Disco Dancer and Prem Pratigya has made significant contributions to Indian cinema over his extensive career. The Dada Saheb Phalke Award honors those who have left a lasting impact on the industry. Mithun Chakrabarti's recognition as Dada Saheb Phalke Award recipient is a testament to his enduring legacy and influence in the Indian cinema. The award ceremony is expected to take place later this year, with fans and colleagues eagerly anticipating the celebration of his remarkable career. The highly anticipated film Do Pati is set to arrive on Netflix on 25th of October, adding to the streaming giant's lineup of thriller content. The film stars Bollywood actor Kajol and Kriti Sanon in pivotal roles, marking their second collaboration after playing sisters in Rohit Shetty's Dilwale. In Do Pati, Kajol takes on the role of a seasoned cop while Kriti Sanon portrays a murder suspect. The dynamics between the two characters is set to unravel in a gripping narrative that's filled with suspense and intrigue. Do Pati is a twisted tale about twin sisters harboring deep secrets and a determined police inspector seeking to uncover the truth in an attempted murder case set against the picturesque hills of fictional town of Devipur, Uttarakhand. The case will unfold entangled in a web of half-truths and half-lies. This teaser sets the tone for what promises to be a thriller. The makers of Kangana Ranaut's film Emergency have agreed to the changes that have been suggested by revising committee of the Censor Board of Film Certification. In fact, during the latest hearing in the Bombay High Court, the representatives of Zee Studios informed the court that they've submitted a format for the implementation of the changes and are now waiting for the board to respond now. The further hearing will matter in this regard will be taken up on 3rd of October. The revising committee has even told the makers to make the changes and obtain the certificate for its release in theatres. The list of cuts includes removal of few violent scenes and a reference to Jarnail Singh Bhindranwale as saint or sant in a dialogue. In other entertainment stories that we are tracking, it's John Ashton, the veteran character who memorably played the role of police detective John Taggart in Beverly Hills Cop films, died at the age of 76. The cause of the death still remains unknown as of now. In a career that spanned over 50 years, Ashton was a regular face across TV series and films which included Midnight Run, Little Big League and Gone Baby Gone. In the Beverly Hills Cop films, John Ashton played an essential part of an indelible trio. Ashton is survived by his wife Robin Hoy and 2 children, 3 stepchildren, a grandson and 2 sisters and a brother.